Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is the next weekend. Front end's back together, working great. It did fix my issue with the steering box, with turning at slow speeds, feeling that little clunk. That's all gone. I do have one ripped boot on my tie rod. On this side, you can't see it, but I've got to address that today. I'm going to either put the old one back on or put a hose clamp on it or something just to seal the dirt out. But the front end, tip-top shape. Pretty happy. I've got something kind of set up here in the back. I talked about this one other time, but I've been kind of itching to drain my catch can. I say that because I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've got an oil slick right underneath where I parked this thing. So I have a feeling it's pretty dang full. And I figured why not, drain it right on camera. So hopefully I can get this out. Oh, well that's super convenient. Broke that shit right off. Awesome. So we're gonna have to figure something else out. But we need to get that drained, so here we go. Well, that was anticlimactic. All right, so the design of this catch can, some stuff came out, but it wasn't near as much as I thought was going to come out. The only place I could really install this thing was mounting it to the side of my box, which, in my opinion, there's just no other way to mount this thing in my brain. I am quite certain that somebody has thought of a much smarter way to do it than I have. And why this is a problem mounting it to the side of your box is I just got some riv nuts in the box. I mean, it comes on and off pretty easily, but you've got to remove the box to change the oil in your machine, check the plugs, and do a lot of other things. So you have to undo this catch can in order to do that. But as you can see, in my machine, it's kind of a pain in the ass anyway. I've got these two boxes I've got to remove from up here anyway, and then I can remove my box. So there's a lot going on here anyway. So as much as I'm irritated about my catch can, there's bigger fish to fry. So anyway, I'm going to get busy taking this stuff apart. I'll put you on a time lapse. It's nothing you really want to see anyway. All right, so we got those boxes removed. This is what you're left with. Bunch of mud, gross. Yeah. To take out the box, it's super simple. On a Pro XP, you got bolt there, here, and then over here, and the whole tray just kind of lifts out. Before I do that though, I've got to unscrew my catch can. And you can see I've just got a couple of riv nuts down here. And we just take those out with an Allen and the whole box will lift out, be pretty simple. Okay, here is the engine compartment. It's filthy, pretty gross. This is after the machine is reasonably clean. Like pressure washing and all that from the season. But this is all the junk that remains. This will stay here. I'm not going to clean it up. It's just not worth it because it's just going to be back here after the first ride. I know there's a lot of guys that keep their machine, spotless and all that, and that's great for them. It's just I did that for years, and I'm kind of done with that. But anyway, we're gonna get to, we gotta clean up this box. It's pretty gross, and we're gonna change the engine oil and change the transmission oil. So that's what's on the agenda for today. Just wanted to pause for a minute, talk about an oil change, because I mean, that's fascinating, right? No, just last year, when you do things all the time, you take them for granted. That's just human nature, and it's certainly my nature. And last year, I did the oil change. By the way, I know someone will ask, I use AMSOIL in this machine, and I put a capful of ZDDP supplement. I put it in here because a mechanic that I trust said this is probably going to be a good idea for the length of your machine. So far, no problems. So I put a capful, that's it, in the oil. Other than that, 0W50 AMSOIL, good to go. Bottom line, it's about the same price as Polaris oil. I just like the AMSOIL product a little better. But last year, I got in a hurry, changed the oil, and got everything back together and was like, cool, I'm done. And I drained my oil into my container so I can recycle it. Only when I was draining it, I noticed this. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's right. This is the copper crush washer that goes on the drain plug. Yeah, it was in my pan. It didn't go back in the plug, so guess what I had to do again? We did what was called a quick change. I pulled the plug, put my finger in the hole. Yeah, that's what she said. Put the copper washer back on the drain plug, put it back in there, lost about a half a quart of oil, and made a mess. So don't forget this. Pro tip over. Okay, on a Pro XP, the oil filter is way back there. A little bit more intimidating looking than it is to get to. It's really not that bad, just makes a little bit of a mess. While we're back here, we're gonna clean or change the air filter, I'm not sure which. I know my S&B particle separator doesn't work worth a shit. It's my second one. I made a video about it. Don't buy one for your machine if you want it to actually work. I'm going to pull the motor out of the particle separator today and see if that's what's messed up on it. Make sure I've got power to it, make sure it's not my issue. But it wasn't last time, so I suspect it isn't my issue this time. Anyway, I'm going to finish up pulling the oil filter, getting a new one spun on there, and changing out the air filter or cleaning it, whichever one. All right, we're gonna pull off these, pull out the spark plugs, check them over, and likely replace them. We'll see. I guess I didn't realize how long this part took me, but I spent about, I don't know, 10 minutes swapping out these plugs. There's an 8mm retainer bolt on the coil pack. You just pull those out. Those come off pretty easy. You want to make sure you're careful sliding out the spark plug tubes, just to make sure you don't get a bunch of dirt in the hole. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem when you pull your plugs out. Pulling the plugs out, super simple. They're not cranked in there super tight, which is something you don't want to repeat. Otherwise, you could crack a plug later. I didn't use a spark plug socket the first time. I'm not sure why. But I did, putting it back in. Obviously, it's got a little piece of rubber inside there, and it retains the plug in the socket. Makes it easier to put it back in. Anyway, getting it back in, snugging her up, moving on to the next one. I'm just kind of showing you the plugs, by the way, when I pull them out. They all looked, or both of them looked really good. They're about 3 years old, I think. I went back and checked my records. I think they've been in there about 3 seasons. They look fantastic. I'm just replacing them with new for no other reason as I had the plugs, and I figured now's a good time to replace them. Again, just kind of snug them up. Not literally hand tight, but you don't need to crank them down quite a bit. You know, you just need to tighten them a little bit. Put your tubes back in carefully. Make sure no dirt gets in there. Put your retainer bolt back in there. Again, those just need to be snugged up. I just kind of thread them all the way down by hand and then just give them a little bit of a turn. Not a hard job at all. Don't be intimidated about doing this. And when the box is removed, that's the time to do it. All right, that about wraps it up back here. Change the trans fluid, change the oil, change the spark plugs. I do not do that every year. I believe the spark plugs were last changed in 2021. Maybe 2022, not sure. But it's been at least 3 seasons since I changed plugs. And to be honest, I don't think I really needed to change plugs this time. I just did, I guess is the way I'd put it. I had them, changed them. And that's about how much thought went into them. Figured it's probably time. May not be. I do carry a spare set of plugs with me. I don't know what good that's going to do out on the trail because I don't have a deep enough extension to get down in there. I just realized that when I changed them. I thought I did, but I don't. So I'm going to have to remedy that, add an extension to the kit. Next, I'm going to try and replace this guy here, the motor on my S&B. Why I'm going to change it, I really don't know. I know that sounds terrible. This thing hasn't worked properly ever. I did a video on it. S&B's customer service, I mean, they're super nice people. I feel bad. It's just their product doesn't work. I don't know if the time-lapse showed on me cleaning out my air filter, but I mean, it's filthy. And it had one ride on it. So I've had them on other machines. They worked significantly better. So this one's kind of a disappointment, but it is what it is. I know it helps a little when the motor's running. I don't know if it's the motor being right there is sucking in moisture and stop working or what the deal is. But either way, we'll take it out. We'll see if we can't get it fixed. If not, I'm just going to run it as is and not worry about it. Okay, guys, so I pulled that fan out. This is my power to the fan. I checked to make sure with the test light just said 12 volt power when the key's on. As you can see, the key's on. That was pretty dirty and grimy. I sprayed it with some contact cleaner, got it cleaned up. Did the same thing with this plug here. Clean that all up. I don't know if you can see this, but you can take my word for it. The fan is spinning now. So I don't know if the fan was dirty. It's like it's shutting off now. I don't know. I'm going to spray this down with some electrical cleaner as well as that harness. Put some dielectric grease in there. Put her back together and call it good. I just kind of disappointed in this thing, but whatever. We'll get it fixed up. All right, guys. We got the bed back together. The S&B particle separator back together. Catch cans on. Oh, I see I didn't tighten up the hose or install the hose, but I'll do that next. All right, we got the catch can back together there. I did pull it apart and clean the inside. It was pretty gross. Definitely, if you're running a tune on your machine and you're building a little bit more boost, probably a good idea to have a catch can in there. Cleaned out the inside of this a little bit. It ain't perfect, but it doesn't need to be. But I probably got about 2 pounds of dirt out of there. So I'm going to put my toolboxes back in there, and we're making progress. We're done. We got the machine back together. It's basically ready to ride. I've got a few things I'm going to redo, I should say. I'm going to pull off this crap. This is PPF that was kind of covering up the stickers. I'll admit to being a dork, I think the stickers look cool. Kind of shows where we've been with this machine. It's been kind of all over Wyoming, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, obviously all over West Virginia. This machine never made it to Arizona. We were going to go see a good friend out there, Don. Shout out to Don. But the trip didn't pan out, and I never made it out there. And life got in the way, and it's gotten hard. But anyway, I'm going to pull off this and try and clean up those stickers and redo it because it's looking pretty ragged. But I don't think anybody really wants to see a video on that. Other than that, the thing's ready to go. Kind of a short one this week, but kind of happy. It's just ready to go. I'm usually not in this position until like, sometime in April. So this year was pretty light compared to previous years. But anyway, thanks for watching this week. Just wanted to say thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.